Welcome to Inactive Listening. This is a re recorded episode. I am going through re recording the first two episodes of our podcast because they don't meet our quality standards, and I'll go more into that. But this is a podcast about two very close friends, Logan, that's me, and my other co host, Walter. He is not here, and he won't be here for the next episode just because he's busy. We are both college students, but at the time of this original recording, episode one, I was just about to start senior year of high school. We didn't really know where this was going to go, and yeah, I don't know, it wasn't a huge thing, but we just wanted to try it out. We ended up recording off of my phone just by like hitting record on the camera app, setting the phone down, and then we just talked back and forth in his truck just because we wanted like a secluded area. And yeah, it was definitely interesting, but it was not what we wanted as our first episode. So at the time of this recording, we've made like 18, 19 episodes. I think we have 18 public. Um, so yeah, I mean, we've gotten much higher quality microphones. That's what you're listening to right now. Um, we've worked through the kinks and stuff like that, but episode 3, you'll see we talked about getting new mics and how exciting this was, and then we messed with like audio stuff for a while. This is obviously way after that. So I apologize. This is not our original episode 1, nor will it be our original episode 2. I'm not even sure how long these 2 episodes will stay. We might end up replacing them more formally later, but we are just taking the liberty. I have some free time on a weekend, close to finals. Walter's really busy, and you'll hear him if you just play any of our other episodes. He's in all of them. So, but yeah, that's what is happening. Just so you're aware, isn't our first episode. This would be like our 20th episode, and it's just me. So it's just uh, half of the team, but there was a lot with the first episode. If you were lucky enough to listen to the very first one, a lot of like friends who know us and people who know us listened because those were the first people that we introduced the podcast to. You would have heard. Content wise, it was fine, but there was a lot of like verbal things I didn't like just because it was like our very first episode. Not really much of a public speaker. We have now been doing the podcast for over a year. You might say like over a year and only like 20 episodes. We are very busy. We both are in college, like I said, and during school time, we just don't have a ton of time to record. We mainly record over the summer. Um, so yeah, I mean, we recorded the very first episode and then did not record again for a long time. It was like months, I think, and then we recorded second episode using a microphone, and it was very poor quality again, just because it was like a USB-C mic or whatever, and in the truck, we just didn't have a lot figured out. So for our introduction, that's what we wanted to change. Um, so yeah, Walter was about to go into college. This was the day before my senior year of high school. He was about to be a freshman. We both we just talked. There's a lot of banter back and forth. I'm just gonna skip through, but I was able to like re-listen to some, write down a handful of things that we talked about, just so it's not like a total scrap. But Definitely going to be a much shorter episode, just an introduction. I highly recommend listening to our latest episodes, and I would probably say that every single time just because we are always getting better and better. We just, I don't know. Episode 3, we are leaving in, and everyone after that, I have to go through and do some editing. But our first two are just very poor. We'd rather just cut them completely. They're not going to be deleted. So maybe one day when we have hundreds of episodes, we'll put them somewhere so you can listen to what it really sounds like to start a podcast. But for new people coming in, we wanted our, first episodes to be somewhat of an actual introduction. Uh, our most popular episode was the very first episode, which is cool, but also how many people have probably turned away because I'm recording off of an iPhone and not off of like $150 worth of equipment that we have now. We both have very similar music tastes. We go into that in some other episodes. We both like video games, have similar humor. We were both former swimmers. If you listen to our latest, as of this recording, which is like episode 18 and 17 and 16, he kind of talks about probably rejoining swim, but at the time of this original recording, um, I was going into senior year for swimming. He was uh, obviously graduating, and he was going to be doing swimming for college. Um, so yeah, we talk about swimming a lot. We have similar humor. We both like video games, music. There's a lot of stuff, but we're just two close friends that started a podcast together. We thought it would be interesting because we were so young. I was 17 whenever we first recorded. I'm 19 years old now. Walter is 20, I think. He's a year above me. But Walter has a younger brother. He comes on the podcast, I think once or twice so far. But that's, I spent a lot of time with him. We just were in the same grade for middle school, high school. We did swimming together. So I swam with Peter for 2 years, Walter's brother. I only swam with Walter my junior year, his senior year, but it was a lot of fun. And that's where we got really, really close. We first met at a thing called Camp Invention. This was like an event. It's still going on in our school. It's for like younger kids. It's like elementary and I think middle school kids. Actually, like 2 years ago, I helped there and was like an aide to help the kids, and like it was like a volunteer thing. But so Walter did that. I think at the time that we very first met, and yeah, he stands out though because he's 6'6", so he's just a very tall person. I'm around 5'8" or 5'9", a little bit stockier build, and Walter is just very, very tall. He was known at high school a lot for that, just being like the tallest person, and but yeah, he very popular person. A lot of people like him. Um, he's a great guy. But yeah, we met at Camp Invention. We didn't really see each other after that until around swim time. I joined swim. Obviously, like this is someone that I'm friends with, quote unquote, but I didn't know that well. Did swim, completely changed. Uh, this was Walter's senior year. And then, yeah, here we are. We talk in that previous episode, or episode 1, our original, briefly about like music, cassettes, stuff like that. We talk about engineering because we both are engineers or going for engineering. He at the well, I was going to go for mechanical engineering. He was going to go for mechanical engineering or like a design type engineering. That has since changed. I think we're both going for mechanical engineering. Not us both. I'm going towards MET, which I talk about later, but just a little bit of a change from the original. Yeah, we're from Indiana, the Rust Belt. We don't mention that a whole lot. Walters College has since, like, we've redacted some just because it's kind of unprofessional. I am public about where I go just because I don't really care. I'm going to a very, very public school. People can relate to it. This was some of our conversation. Why I didn't feel the need to cut that, like, I go to Purdue. This original recording, I didn't know which Purdue I was going to go to. Uh, Originally, it was Purdue Northwest. As of now, I'm in Purdue University. I didn't like Purdue University that much. Um, but things have changed around, and you can listen to more of that down the road. So, not going to get too crazy into detail about everything that we talked about. This is just a almost temporary replacement. I'm not sure if it'll be permanent or not. It's obviously weird just being me without Walter, but I think this is still a better first episode, better introduction than our original. It's just came down really to like a quality thing. Not really what we talked about necessarily, but I don't know. We've made a lot of growth, I think. Our very first episode, just very poor quality. Overall, what we talked about, talking patterns, like I would constantly repeat right and stuff like that in just agreement just because I didn't really know what to say as we listen. And then as we've gone on, just gotten more and more comfortable. The podcast, I think, has gotten better. We've done more as of this point. Like we have merch and stuff like that. It's been a lot. And we've done, I think, very well. Very proud of our podcast. But yeah, just know that this isn't our absolute first episode. This is a lot farther down the line, but it needed to be done. We didn't want our. It was either going to be that we like buried our first handful of episodes under like 100 episodes. We just new people listening might not go to that, but we felt at the risk of people playing our very first episode would be like almost a turnoff in a way. Whenever I start a new or whenever I listen to like a podcast, one that I mentioned a lot was Ear Biscuits. I would click on, more or less their latest, or give like a quick half scroll and see what title popped out to me and start there just because they have like hundreds. If it was a podcast that had 10 episodes, I mean, might start at the very first one. And if your very first one is horrendous, yeah, it's kind of a problem. So instead of just cutting it and then just starting at episode 3, I wanted to make a little introduction. We talked about this, him and I. So yeah. The second episode will be very similar to this, very short, same quality. But I would say like don't get used to this quality if you are going to listen all the way through. We didn't really get new mics until somewhat recently, so and our quality wasn't horrible. Just we finally got like a halfway decent understanding in episode 3. Episode 4, we even go beyond that. At some point, we both get our own individual mics, and then we are recording like each of us on our own computer, clapping so that we sync the sound. And then editing was a hassle. But as of now, We've grown a lot. We both have nice quality mics. We wear headsets when we talk. We don't have video out as of this recording. It's something that we've tossed around a bit because we might eventually, we probably will, but and now we record on one computer. It's just we've refined a lot, but it takes a lot to get to that point. So as much as I would like to show our very first episode and what it was like and how much we've grown, I would rather show a more accurate representation of what we are as a podcast. Thank you for listening. If you are new here, welcome to Inactive Listening. Another thing I'll mention, we didn't have a name at the start of this podcast. We just named it. It was just an attempt, and that was our first episode. Around episode 3, this is around where we got the name of what the podcast is, Inactive Listening. So then the attempt was just our title, and that is probably still going to be the title of this episode, but yeah, we've done some refining, and I don't think it's anything to be ashamed of. We debated about re-recording the first 2 episodes for a while now. It's just something that we deem appropriate, so hope this was a good enough of an introduction to kind of get an idea who we are. I apologize for Walter not being here. He'll be here in the next, from episode 3 on. He's about in every single one, so, because he's my co-host. So this isn't a podcast about me, it's a podcast about us. And yeah, we are very grateful for you to join us. That is likely going to wrap up episode 1. So I will see you guys in the next one.